he thought it was over. Not because he wanted to quit, but because life had taken everything from him. The money, the years, the dream he spent most of his life building. Gone. And when everything disappeared, something inside him disappeared too. His name was Daniel, a man who once had direction, now sitting in silence, with nothing but memories of what used to be. At first, he tried to fight it, tried to fix what was broken, tried to rebuild what he lost. But every attempt failed. Every effort led to another disappointment, and slowly, that strength inside him began to fade. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Daniel stopped trying. He stopped answering calls, stopped going outside, stopped believing things could change. He would sit for hours, staring at the ceiling, lost in thoughts that only brought him pain. What if I had done things differently? What if I had seen it coming? What if I didn't lose everything? But no matter how many times he asked, the answers never came, only regret. One evening, as the sun slowly disappeared, Daniel sat alone on a bench, watching people walk past him. Everyone seemed to be moving forward. Everyone had somewhere to go. But him, he felt stuck, like life had moved on without him. That's when he noticed someone, an older man, sitting a few steps away, calm, quiet, observing. Their eyes met for a moment, and something about that look felt different. It wasn't pity, it wasn't judgment, it was understanding. The old man stood up slowly and walked toward him. "Mind if I sit here?" he asked. Daniel didn't answer, but he didn't refuse either. So the man sat beside him. For a while, neither of them spoke. Then the old man broke the silence. "You look like someone who lost more than just money." Daniel looked at him. For the first time in months, someone saw him, not his situation, not his failure, him. "I lost everything," Daniel said quietly. The old man nodded. "I know that feeling." Daniel frowned slightly. "You do?" The man gave a small smile. "More times than you can imagine." There was no pride in his voice, no exaggeration, just truth, and somehow that made Daniel listen. "Tell me," the old man said, "what exactly did you lose?" Daniel hesitated, then spoke slowly. "My business, my money, my time, my life." The old man shook his head gently. "No," he said, "you didn't lose your life. You lost what you built. There's a difference." Daniel looked confused. "It doesn't feel that way." The old man leaned forward slightly. "That's because you've attached your life to your success. But let me ask you something. Who were you before all of this?" Daniel went silent. He had never thought about it. "I don't know anymore." The old man nodded slowly. "That means you still have something." "What?" "You." That word hit differently. "You still have your mind, your experience, your ability to start again." Daniel shook his head. "It's too late for that." The old man let out a soft laugh. "Too late? Let me tell you something. I started over at 45. Lost everything again at 52, and built something even greater at 60. Daniel stared at him. "How?" The old man looked ahead. "Because I stopped telling myself it was too late." Silence. Then he added, "The only time it's too late is when you decide to stop trying." Those words stayed with Daniel. That night, he couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling again, but this time, something was different. He wasn't thinking about what he lost. He was thinking about what he still had. His knowledge, his experience, his ability to try again. Maybe it wasn't over. The next morning, he woke up early. Not because he had to, but because he chose to. And that was the beginning. He didn't start big. He didn't have the strength for that. So he started small, very small. One task, one step, one effort at a time. It wasn't easy. Doubt was still there. Fear still followed him. But this time, he didn't listen. He moved forward anyway. Days passed, then weeks. Slowly, momentum returned. Confidence followed. And over time, results appeared. Not instantly, but steadily. The man who once gave up was building again, stronger, wiser, more disciplined. Years later, Daniel stood in a place he once thought he would never reach again, not just successful, but fulfilled. And one day, he returned to that same bench, the same place where everything changed, but the old man was nowhere to be found, and maybe he was never meant to stay, because sometimes a single conversation can change your entire life. So if you feel like it's too late, if you feel like life has already passed you by, listen carefully. It's not over. You're not finished, and it's never too late to start again.